Hey, it's me, Vance again. So right now, I'm sitting in the parking lot of Trotwood Park. In case you don't know where that is, it's actually in Winter Springs, Florida in Seminole County. I'm sure you're probably asking, what are you doing in Winter Springs? Well, because Winter Springs has a very special place in my heart because in the very first 2 years that I lived in Florida, I lived here in Winter Springs, Florida. This was my home for 2 years, and it was one of the most beautiful places that I've ever seen. And I've had some of the best times of my life in Winter Springs, and especially in the 2 years that I finished up high school at Winter Springs High School. So I was in the neighborhood because, for those of you who watch my previous videos, you guys know that for now I go to St. Albans Anglican Church, which is in Oviedo, which is actually not too far from Winter Springs. So I decided that, every now and then I'm probably going to make some frequent visits over here to Winter Springs, just to take a stroll down memory lane. And when I have the chance, especially right now, when it comes to recording videos, I may actually want to record videos of myself, walking through the area. You know something? It's moments like this when I really regret that I never had any interest in recording videos, before I started recording YouTube videos in 2011, and not to mention other social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Rumble. Because, there are some times in my life that will always live in my memory and hold a special place in my heart because, certain moments in time, through your childhood and your teenage years, they mean something to you. I'm not sure I really know how to explain it, but those of you who are watching this video, you guys know what I'm talking about. You'll remember, like, when you were growing up, you remember a park that your parents used to take you to where you played on the swings, you went down the slide. Or, maybe you remember one Christmas you got a very special toy that you wanted for Christmas, and that's a perfect example of, a wonderful memory that holds a special place in your heart. Stuff like that. And I feel like, the time that I spent in Winter Springs, even though it was very brief, it was still very memorable for me, to say the least. And, like I said, whenever I have a chance to come back to a certain location, I will. Oh, what I was trying to say was that, I regret that I never recorded, times of my life from my childhood or my teenage years, both in Michigan and here in Florida, at least in Winter Springs, because, I would have loved to have shared memories with you from my past. And I don't know, but I believe and hope that by God's amazing grace, I may become someone great one day, whether if I become a religious figure, a political figure, a social figure, or maybe a combination of all of those things. I believe with all of my heart that I have been destined or predestined by God for something great. Even though I don't know exactly what it is, I'm gleefully, optimistically, yet cautiously traveling down the path of life to see exactly where exactly life takes me. So I figure that the least that I can do is that if there's any time in my life when I can come back to Winter Springs or go back to Michigan, I can record videos and try and take you guys with me down memory lane with me, to tell you my life stories and basically, just share magical moments with you guys that, have molded me and build me into the person that I am today and still continuing to build me up into what I hope to become probably one of the greatest individuals that ever lived in this world in the 21st century. Now, the purpose of this video is to take a stroll through this park, and share some memories from the 2 years that I lived in Winter Springs. So without further ado, let's get out of this truck. And I'll show you Trotwood Park in beautiful Winter Springs, Florida. Oh, and that neighborhood right over there, basically, one of the reasons why Trotwood Park is so memorable to me is that there was a time, I think it was back in, 2009? I think it was late 2008, either way. I spent some time with a girl here. I'll probably make another video where I talk about that with the actual location, the precise location in the background. Basically, it was here in Trotwood Park that I spent some time with a girl. We were sitting at a picnic bench, and she gave me a kiss on the cheek. So it's another one of those like beautiful memories that I cherish for the rest of my life. And she lived in that community over there. I'm not sure if you saw that. Sometimes with this particular camera, it faces me. Sometimes I have a hard time, trying to focus it correctly. I'm just rambling on. Let me just take some time to walk you guys through Trotwood Park. Make sure my hand doesn't get in the way. Sometimes I have a tendency to be a klutz. I guess you could call that the all-purpose field where everyone plays sports, whether if it's football or soccer or whatever it is that they play. So this is beautiful Trotwood Park. Beautiful Trotwood Park in beautiful Winter Springs. Some of my memories are very vague because I spend so much time working and studying that, sometimes I just unconsciously push certain memories out of my mind. Some things I can't remember, but there are other things that I do remember. So I'm trying to remember exactly how many times I've actually been here to Trotwood Park. As I said before, I get so caught up in my busy life, my busy schedule, that there are just some memories that I just push out of my mind unconsciously because I'm more focused on, okay, I gotta do this, I gotta go to work, I got to get this homework assignment done and get it turned in by this deadline. And in moments like that, really not much matters to me in any particular moment. But I do remember that we've had some like events here. I think it was like maybe a sporting event. I remember I was over there, and I think it was, what was it? Was it a soccer game? I honestly can't remember, but I do remember that I was sitting on the ground with a couple of friends from Winter Springs High School, and we were just chatting and shooting the breeze and all that other stuff. And what teenagers usually talk about, before they graduate from high school, what they want to do with the rest of their lives, where they want to go, and just asking what everyone else is planning to do with the rest of their lives. So, but I do remember one time I was having a barbecue here with a couple of my friends, and I remember that my friend Donovan, who I used to call Don, he was cooking the burgers, and at that time I don't really like, barbecue smoke getting into my face, and he told me, Vance, smoke is your friend, when you're gonna cook in a barbecue, smoke is your friend. And so that's something I've tried to incorporate every time I try and cook burgers on the grill back home. Cautiously, make sure that I don't, absorb. That's not the word I'm looking for. What's the phrase? I guess what I'm trying to say is, I'll probably stand there for a period of time and not allow the smoke to bother me, but at some point I have to get away from it because it'll blind me. So I have to say this. I apologize if I seem to slur in my speech sometimes. It's just that, I'm not really a very sociable person, and whenever I see like groups of people surrounding me, or like I see people who look like they're walking in my direction, I see people who are right next to me, it just sets something off in my mind, and sometimes I just have a hard time trying to say exactly whatever it is that I'm trying to say. So if I sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, like, slurring my speech, that's pretty much why. Sometimes I really don't like to record my videos when there's other people watching, because, I'm always thinking, what are they thinking about me? What if I say the wrong word? Will they laugh at me? Just those common things, that people are always usually afraid of when it comes to being in social situations. And that's the thing about me. I've never really been much of a social butterfly. If anything, I've been more of a reclusive tarantula. And that's something that, I always try and deal with, every day of my life, is just try and deal with those social anxieties. Just don't let them get the best of you. Don't let them get the best of me. So if I slur in my speech, that's pretty much why. Social anxiety and just being shy. But, I record this video because this is all about taking a stroll down memory lane. This is all about, taking a walk back in time and just remembering I used to live here. I lived in this area for 2 years, and it was a wonderful experience for me, And I like to share my experiences with my fans and my subscribers and other viewers on YouTube who are interested. Well, let's continue this walk. Another thing was that before I made the decision to become a priest, I was actually considering a career in law enforcement. And when I was living in Winter Springs, I used to be a member of the Winter Springs Police Explorer program, which is basically a junior police program where, teenagers who are interested in pursuing a career in the criminal justice field, as well as being a police officer, they can know what it feels like to be a law enforcement officer. They can get a feel for what it's like. They can actually go on ride-alongs with cops. They actually go with police officers to community events and help them out with certain events, and that was a wonderful time for me. So that's another beautiful memory that I have living in Winter Springs, is when I was an explorer for the Winter Springs Police program. And I'm not too sure, but I think there may have been times when we used to hold events in Trotwood Park. The Winter Springs Police Community Service and the Winter Springs Explorers, Police Explorers. I'm trying to remember if it was over here or if it was over there where my friends and I had that barbecue that I was talking about earlier. I don't want to record too much. I don't want to stand out because I don't want people asking me what I'm doing, just in case if they don't want to be filmed. But this is just basically me just walking through this park, taking a stroll down memory lane, and sharing it with you guys. I apologize if my hand gets in the way. Thank God for shade. It's wintertime and it's warm. But that's one of the beautiful things about Florida. You never really have to deal too much with cold weather around Christmas time. City of Winter Springs, incorporated 1959. Wow. In God we trust. Amen. Well, that was to give you somewhat of a quick view of Trotwood Park. Whew. Sweating. You guys are probably wondering why I haven't talked in about 2 minutes. I just didn't want to bore you again with my dull, boring speeches. So, I'm just going to show you just a little more scenery. Enjoy the beauty of the scenic view. You know, to be honest, I just record this at least for the purpose of, you know, scenic beauty. You know, just basically, just to show you where I am in life, you know, just like my exact location and just how beautiful the area is, you know. I'm not really much of a nature lover, but, you know, even if you're not really a nature lover, you just got to admire the beauty of the environment that you're living in, or at least visiting and walking through, you know, being a sojourner, if you will. You know, in all of my videos, if it's like my ventriloquist videos, or if it's like maybe a motivational speech video that I'm recording, or maybe in the future when I become an ordained priest and I start preaching sermons, I may have, you know, these beautiful scenic backgrounds. I just don't like the idea of recording anything with a blank background. You know, even if it is, like maybe if I put up like a light blue sheet in the background, I just feel like that something like that is just dull and boring for any background, for any video that I record. You know what I mean? I just want the background of all my videos to be alive and well. You know, just bring a sense of living and existence to the videos, if that makes any sense. You know? So I put like images like this in my videos so that, you know, everything in the background looks alive. You know, nothing is dull, nothing is boring, but it's exciting and it's beautiful and it's artistic, to say the least. I'm trying to do the best I can to make sure that I accidentally don't fly my hand in front of the camera lens. You know, when I was talking earlier about that girl that I spent some time with over here in this park who lived right over there, I'm starting to think maybe that was in December. I think it was like November or December of 2008. Has to be. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this is beautiful Trotwood Park. This video right now is almost 21 minutes long. Well, when you're taking a stroll down memory lane, you know, time shouldn't really mean anything. At least in the sense of, hey, let's make this quick, let's make this quick, let's make this quick. I gotta turn on the truck, turn on the AC, because I'm warm right now. Alright, so, hold on, there. So 21 minutes and 5 seconds. Nice. So, as I said, that's beautiful Trotwood Park in beautiful Winter Springs, Florida. I appreciate I appreciate you guys who stuck around this long, 21 minutes long, to take this stroll with me down memory lane, walking through Trotwood Park. If there's any more videos like this you want to see, just let me know in the comment section down below if you want to see more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out, yo. God bless.